Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Contiengecy Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master David, and with me, as always, is Darth Austin.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, hello, and welcome to our All Pour One Out for Stan Lee podcast.
Excelsior.
Well, we are pouring one out for the late, great Stan Lee today. However, we are still a reread podcast, cycling through Vector Prime of the new Jedi Order line of books, currently going through Chapter 18, Storm Brewing. Before we get into a little bit about Stan Lee, because we do want to talk about him during our HoloNet, kind of putting all Star Wars news sort of in the on the back burner. For a very great man, and I think we'll have some stories there for you. But let's start out in Jedi Council. How you doing this week?
Oh, if we're talking about just right now, the food coma has set in.
Yeah, we went and got a little. We had Five Guys,
Burgers and fries.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we went and got some Five Guys burgers and Cajun fries and ate way too much. We shared whatever they said the 2-person fry was, and that easily could have been like a 3-person fry. That was like 4 whole potatoes just smothered in Cajun seasoning.
You know how when you go to like Wendy's or McDonald's and there's maybe 1 or 2 fries sitting at the bottom of the bag that fell out of the case? There was more sitting in the bottom of the bag than in the cup.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you go in there and you get your cup of fries, and then you look down and there's like a whole nother cup and a half of fries that are on in the bottom of the bag. And a lot of times you look at those bags and they look so damn greasy. Well, the reason is because they just, if you got fries, that is. If you got fries, there's another like 3 potatoes worth just sitting in the bottom of the bag.
Yeah, and just like when you go to a fair and get like the fried veggies and they put a stack of napkins on top to soak it up, that's what they do with their fries.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
Are we supposed to use these napkins now?
Yeah, I when I go there, I get the Cajun fries, which is basically they just toss them in Cajun seasoning, and they're very tasty. But yeah, the napkin was basically just coated red with all the Cajun dust,
yeah.
But then obviously had some double patty burgers, and it was just way too much food for one setting, I think.
Have you ever gotten the large fry there?
No, I never have.
I've done it once. So it's the one in which mall are they in? Polaris or Easton? I think it's Easton that they're in.
I think they're I don't believe they're
second
right.
story. So I got it there once, and it was a large drink cup, and it was so overflowing with fries that I barely had any room for my burger in the bag.
Yep.
It was ridiculous. It was just a full bag of fries. It was probably like 4 potatoes.
Yeah.
There again, it's like $7, so you're paying for it.
Well,
you've earned those potatoes.
And yeah, between
amazing.
Between the two of us, like the meal, 2 sandwiches. We, like I said, we split the fry because I wasn't crazy hungry, and I wound up getting a drink. You just got a water. But it was like $27.
Yeah.
So,
and we didn't even eat everything, and we don't do that often.
Well, yeah, there were a few fries left. We got through the burger, but that was kind of an adventure unto itself. But no, that was a good meal. But what about the rest of it? Tell us about your happy life, your calming, nice, calm, happy life that you have.
Just going great. I'm in the process of moving.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Oh, I hate
just
moving.
Abandon everything. I'll just keep your stuff. I don't want to move my furniture.
Jeez. Yeah, moving is never fun. I've done my fair share of moving in the past year. From an apartment to the house and everything, and I won't be here forever either. So, just and I've accumulated a bunch of crap. I really need to start going through stuff and like simplifying down. But I mean, so much of it's like, I've got like crates of like ration stuff for my YouTube channel, Dave's 45 Auto, and
plug.
Then cheap plug. And then, like my books and guitars and so forth. And it all kind of does pile up, doesn't it?
It does. I've brought most of my important things already. I got, obviously, my book collections down there hidden so the 5-year-old doesn't find them.
Uh-huh.
Brought the pontoon.
Yeah, the pontoon. Sure.
And Xbox. That's about it.
Those privileged guys. They're talking about all the stuff they have pontoons.
Gonna have to, my 35-year-old pontoon.
Well, I mean, you got a good deal on that pontoon, but
God,
we.
But that's still privilege. I understand.
Well, there's an area of the area we grew up in, an area. When it was
a taco within a taco.
Yeah. Well, when it was cultivated, it was actually more like swampland, and basically developers saw some promise in it, and they built up a man-made lake and lakefront properties, and it's actually very nice. But there are a lot of working class folks that wanted to buy houses away from the main town, which is a small town, but still, and it's become this little
diverse
lakey
community,
and you grew up and you were a lifeguard on the beaches and in the indoor pools, and
I mowed the lawns of all those facilities.
Correct.
And worked the marina down there for a little bit.
Yeah, and then you
moved on to a real marina.
Yeah, and you're still working on boats today, and then you got a really good deal on an
old piece of crap that I was able to fix.
Right. But I mean, really, when you think about it, you could probably sell it off for more than what you paid for. Maybe.
Truthfully, I could sell that thing for like $5,000 today.
Yeah. But you've done
got lucky.
You've done some improvements, and I know it's kind of nice, go out with your friends and family and just putz around the lake a little bit and just have a good time. So hey man, I don't blame you. Everyone
needs their therapy.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know why my therapy is so close to my work. That's probably not healthy. That'd be like if you just taught everyone how to raise their credit score and all that good stuff when you got off work all the time.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Banker.
Yeah, I guess. But no, I mean it's good. At least if you're out there. I mean, because from experience, there are a lot of people that buy boats and don't know what to do when anything happens with them, which is why the business you work for exists.
Which is funny because it's the equivalent of what our grandfather worked on. It's very basic systems.
True.
Most of the ones we work on is still distributor cap and rotor. It's crazy how easy it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just some people are not mechanically inclined, and you got. I mean, I definitely, we all understand that, but yeah, no, it's it definitely has been an interesting few months. I'm on vacation this week.
Yeah, what for? Tell the audience.
Well, where I work, because I'm in management, because I have a management level job. There is a lot of vacation now. Not that everybody always gets to take it, but it was getting towards the end of the year, and I had so many days. I was like, well, I'm just not going to lose it. So I wound up dotting a few days around here and there. And this week was my birthday week, and then
there you go.
I didn't do it because of my birthday. I just did it because it was an open week and everybody else was there. But yeah, no, it's good. I needed some time off. And we'll go from there, I guess.
Yeah, right. But I was lucky. At least it was a week where I had a couple days off, so we could come down here and catch up a little and actually get ahead on this. So hopefully next week we can work on solo.
Yeah, work on some video projects that we've been talking about for months now.
I would like, when we finish this book, just to take a week. Like, each of us take like 2-3 days off if we can and just binge on all the other stuff we've been wanting to do, the reviews, the bios, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, right.
Fun little project for the holidays when we don't really want to go out and do anything because of the snow.
For sure. And yeah, I mean, there are definitely a lot of other projects that we've been kind of talking about in relation to the podcast. And I mean, this is still very hobby minded, and we we're trying to put in as much, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the podcast. I mean, we're enjoying doing them. Gives us a chance, once a week to kind of get together and just talk about things and catch up, and then talk about a book series, which is a lot of fun. So again, if you guys are liking us, let us know. Leave us. We're on all the major places that carry podcasts. You can leave us a 5-star review on iTunes.
Watch us on the tube of views.
Yeah, and leave your negative comments on YouTube.
Yeah, because we ignore that one.
Well, it's YouTube for podcasts is always kind of like whenever I've heard people listening to podcasts on YouTube, it's usually because the main source of the podcast went down. So I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's a backup."
But actually, it's weird because on the podcasts on YouTube, a lot of them are visual podcasts. They're videos. They're not a true podcast.
That's true. And I don't know. Eventually, if I kind of think about the setup, maybe one day we might also record them as a video and put up the video and then the audio podcast on all the networks and then put on I don't know. We'll see.
Are you saying we're going to be the Star Wars version of Philip DeFranco and SourceFed?
Hey, man, who knows?
Get like 6 hippie, yuppie teenagers to just do news for us on Star Wars. Do all the terrible sifting through Star Wars news that we have to go through.
Who knows?
It's sad that I was kind of glad we didn't have to do that because of obviously something tragic happening, but yeah.
Yeah,
because it's been pretty dry lately on Star Wars news.
Well,
except for the TV shows, that's about it.
Yeah, that's true, and it has. It'll pick up more as we get closer to Celebration and next year. But the year's almost up.
Yeah,
I mean we're in November now. We're scooting right along.
Week away from Thanksgiving in a couple days. Hard to believe.
That's very true. That's very true. So
wait, I said Christmas wrong.
Oh God. Yeah, I don't really look forward to the holidays as much as I did when I was a kid. They just kind of get more complicated the older you get, and they're not quite as fun anymore.
The house I'm now living in, they play Christmas music every day.
Well,
it's very quiet. It's not like you have to hear it if you don't want to.
Well, we always had to listen to it blaring. It was the Oak Ridge Boys Christmas, Air Supply Christmas, and then there was
Elvis.
there was the Elvis Christmas tape, and I'm talking about actual tapes, cassette tapes, and then there was another one too that I just think was like a generic one,
probably from like Kmart.
Back when there was Kmart's,
right? Rural King. You said Rural King wrong.
Well,
at least where I'm from.
Well, that's true. That Rural King did take. People are probably thinking, "What the hell is a Rural King?" It's just like a.
It's a Walmart for
Walmart.
It's for tractor people.
It's even more hicky than Walmart.
And yes, people in our town do use that as a date excuse. Rural King date. That's the thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Go shop around Rural King and eat popcorn and coffee.
I must have been gone from town far too long.
You remember it.
I don't know about that.
Oh, you went on Walmart dates. Don't act like you didn't.
No, I mean, if we were doing that, it was like a late night Walmart run to get like caffeine and like beer, to go play video games or something with my friends.
And then you got to see all the very strange people who came out like midnight.
God. Pajama bottoms.
Everyone started walking with a limp, and
so many pajama bottoms.
It's the same. Well, now that our Walmart has those for adults, full body animal suits, or like onesie pajamas for adults, and they're really popular.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, good times in small town Ohio. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on over to our HoloNet series. So obviously the big story, and I don't think listen, the past 2 years have been like a pretty big time for like, influential celebrities passing away. Some of the big hits, in the past few years, like Prince, Tom Petty was a huge one. I really didn't.
That one was rough.
I really didn't enjoy that. I mean, there are tons. I'm sorry, I can't remember every single one, but there were a lot. Aretha Franklin was recently. She unfortunately passed away, but
Mini Me from Austin Powers died.
Wow, that's a pull.
No, it wasn't.
That's a bit.
He was my hero.
Okay, just the two of us. Okay, but right. But my point is like, I go on to Facebook, and out of all of the people that had died, all these celebrities, I don't think that I saw as many posts about them as I did about Stanley.
It's funny, when I looked, I was scrolling through Facebook a bit mindlessly. I was, sitting at a table having a conversation with like 5 or 6 other people, and I just went through real quick.
Yep.
Scrolled past that bit of news, and someone pointed out, she said, "Yeah, I can't believe he died." And I went back up. It's like, wow, that's kind of like an end of an era.
Well, it is.
And then I woke up the next morning. I saw this picture of Spider-Man holding a picture of Stan Lee just on his knees, looking like he's crying. It's like, God. Huh. It's just hard to believe that guy's he was as old as he was because he looked like he was in his early 70s at best.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, he was 95, born in, 1922 in New York City. And this guy is literally as influential as it comes, creating iconic characters like, Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, Doctor Strange, and Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Black Panther, the X-Men, among others.
Thor, Captain America.
Well, I mean, yeah, some of those he was
influential.
He co-created and did some writing for.
I believe he had a part in Deadpool as well, but that was around the time he kind of got out of it. That role, I should say, but I believe he had a part in Deadpool.
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
To be honest, I never watched Deadpool. I kind of stopped.
I mean the comics.
Oh, the comic.
Yeah, not the movie. He did his usual cameo in that movie. But
that's the other thing. I mean, there really hasn't been a Marvel movie without a cameo from Stan Lee. And we were kind of talking about it before as we were eating. I was like, I kind of hope that they just they identify one clip, just the same clip. And then whoever directs the movies just finds a way to incorporate that same clip of him just like, hi, or, just something really simple and just keeps him in all the movies forever.
Or just Tupac. Just Tupac.
Have a holographic stand. No, I actually hate that. I've never been much of it. Although I will say in Rogue One, the Tarkin, that actually looked okay.
Done.
That looked pretty
was
good.
Well done.
Now the Leia, I didn't really care for as much as the Tarkin. The Leia, when she smiled, the corners of the mouth were a little. But anyway, that's a different story. But yeah, I mean. What else is there to say? There's been such a Marvel revolution lately that everybody knows who he is. And the characters have begun
and we knew him
to come
way
out.
Before then, too. A lot of people didn't, but...
Well, here's the thing. When I was growing up, when I was a kid, the biggest cartoon on television was Batman.
Yep.
The animated series. However, my second favorite show was the X-Men. Mm-hmm. Animated series,
which was amazing. That was truly perfect.
Yeah, I mean it was a great series. So my early comic book interests, my early superhero interests were Batman and then the X-Men, most specifically Gambit. Gambit was my favorite character
and the least used since then.
Well, yeah. I think there was talk.
He had a role in one, but no, he never got his movie like they talked about.
Because I remember they were talking about like Channing Tatum. Ugh.
Really?
What?
Didn't know that.
Sorry. I don't. I mean, maybe if I saw it, but it's like
I believe they had Gambit in one of the more recent.
Maybe,
but he was just a cameo.
It's hard because like I kind of the last Marvel movie I really watched was like Age of Ultron, and then I stopped watching. It wasn't because Age of Ultron I didn't think it was a horrible movie. I just I was just so burnt out. Like it was just too much Marvel for me.
Oh, it's like one every year to year and a half.
More than that, yeah. But anyway, he'll be missed, but his work is going to live on for a long time because we're still making movies.
Yeah,
we're still making a lot of movies. Who's your favorite, just like Marvel hero? And why? Give me 10 reasons why is your favorite Marvel character.
God, I'm not ready. Growing up, I would have to say it'd be a split between Deadpool and Spider-Man, leaning towards Spider-Man more. I know you weren't the biggest fan, but
you were big into Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was always my favorite. The origin story was always really cool. He was an every man's hero.
My problem was, and I'll just say this here, when I watched characters, I always gravitated more towards the kind of cool ones.
Yeah, he was kind of goofy.
And Spider-Man was just like. It's just like, God, this guy's such a nerd. He can't get out of his own way in a lot of cases. And I'm the kind of person that, I can't watch like cringe videos because it makes me physically like, oh God, I don't want to watch it. I like close my eyes. I have to fast forward. Like there are movies that there are parts where I fast forward through because I can't stand like the embarrassment they're about to put there. And it's like, as an actor, it's just a movie. I don't care. It's so
That's
bad.
True. I understand that.
But with him, a lot of the early memories were with like Tobey Maguire.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but after Spider-Man 1...
I watched the TV series, too, though. Not the 60s Djibouti series. That was garbage.
Well, the
Ultimate Spider-Man series was always cool. And I always liked how they had two separate Spider-Mans in their own universe. I always thought that was kind of weird, but cool. But, I mean, you could tell that was Stan's baby.
Yeah, so what are your other reasons that Spider-Man was your favorite character? I mean, that's 9.
I don't think that there would be anything more fun than swinging through
his suit was super cool. His webs.
His mechanical webs. But I also like the one where it was just genetic.
Yeah, well,
but that would be so fun.
They did switch. They switched
Ultimate Spider-Man. He was a science nerd, and he actually made the web himself. And then in just the Amazing Spider-Man,
it's more realistic.
It was the mutation, which made more sense. Truthfully, it made more sense.
Yeah, no, I just think
because without the webs, he was kind of useless. Truthfully, I mean, he
true.
could do something, but not much.
Spidey powers.
So it's like you get your powers, but you're like, nah, screw that. I'm gonna use science. I don't like my powers. I didn't get enough powers. I need science.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I don't want to. I do not want to bash Spider. Actually, have you seen the new game? The new Spider-Man game?
I've watched some pieces. It looks truly.
It actually
really
looks
fun.
pretty sweet. Because I remember you played. I think it was like Spider-Man 2.
2 was probably the best I've ever played.
I remember
played the crap out of that.
Yeah, I didn't really play it all that much, but I remember watching you play it a lot.
Do you remember Spider-Man 1 with? Speaking of which, Stan Lee being the announcer through the entire game.
I don't
for the old PlayStation.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I don't remember. I just remember the one because it was so open world, sandboxy kind of feel.
One of the first, really.
Yeah,
games
that's true.
That did that.
There wasn't a bunch, and it wasn't really what people were doing because we were still getting out of the age of arcades and very set side scroll type games,
platformers, and all that stuff.
But yeah, no, it was cool because you could swing around. There were like little mission, like here deliver pizzas and
stop robberies and all kinds of cool stuff.
And which in a lot of ways the new game feels a lot like. But anyway, that's kind of dropping off topic just a wee bit. But
to answer your question though, I lean more towards Deadpool now that I'm older, just because I kind of relate to the cynical nature a little more. But I was also a massive X-Men fan. That could have been its own universe, truthfully. It didn't really need to mix with Marvel at all.
Technically, it is.
And right now it is.
Because another studio still owns it, I believe.
Yeah. Is it Sony?
I don't remember. I can't remember.
I think it's Sony that owns it. I don't know.
Wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I mean, X-Men was probably my favorite as a kid. I do remember some of the Iron Man cartoons. I thought that was actually
Teen Titans. No, I'm kidding. That's DC.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Although that was one of my favorites.
I remember you watching that. Now they just make it into some like weird hyperactive kid show. Yeah. But no, Iron Man was always really cool to me because I like the fact that he was just he was a normal guy, as normal as you can be.
A normal billionaire.
I mean, he was a just a mortal guy who he happened to have money and was smart, and he was able to create this super suit. Where is my super suit? And I think, well, I mean, you got to give Robert Downey Jr. a lot of credit for bringing that character back to life for a new generation.
I couldn't imagine anyone else reprising that role.
No,
ever.
Not really. No,
maybe in like 30 years they could try, but right now, when he stops, it just needs to die.
We could talk about like how much we need to stop doing remakes of stuff. We can argue about that, but
kind of like Logan, you really can't have a new Wolverine
without
right
Hugh Jackman.
now. Yeah,
no, I'm good.
I'm not saying I want another Hugh Jackman Wolverine movie, but we don't need another Wolverine because he's played the crap out of it for long enough.
No, I agree,
and I like the older ones. The original 3 X-Men movies were actually pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. They weren't bad. They weren't bad. They weren't as bad as some people say they are.
Even a couple of the actually I like the what's the flashback one where they actually see the Doctor as a kid and band together with the first X-Men and all that. The is it First Class?
Maybe.
Something
I don't
like
think
that.
I saw that one.
That was pretty good.
Again, like I'm not much of a movie goer anymore, so some of these I kind of forget about. But again, this Stan Lee was a guy who created a
culture
and a world that people live in, cosplay in.
Arguably, the only culture that really could surpass Star Wars right now.
Yeah,
or rival it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot in the comic book world, but glasses up and pour one out for Stan Lee. He's.
Do you want me to pour it on your hardwood or your carpet?
Preferably neither. Just pour it in your mouth.
Okay.
That's what she said. Anyway, I think we'll move on to slightly happier things, I guess.
Yes, because this chapter is so happy.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
let's
we're on Storm Brewing, chapter 8.
Storm Brewing. Yep. Let's dive straight in here, and we left our last chapter. Yeah, kind of a sour note. The biggest thing happening, obviously we lost Chewbacca. He died, basically attempting to save Anakin, and Anakin didn't return the favor.
Would Chewie have been worth blowing up the Millennium Falcon and killing Han? Well,
and all the people. Yes.
I don't care about all the people. I care about Han, Anakin, and Chewie.
Yeah. Well, we'll
people
talk.
Don't exist. Well, I care more about the Falcon than all those people.
Well, we'll debate on that a little bit more in this chapter.
Are they going to take the Falcon away by the end of this series too?
Never.
Boy, there was a bit of a pause there, everyone.
Now get out of here.
So anyway, he remembers more than he's letting on.
I don't remember. I don't remember anything.
So you're saying there's a chance? Oh God, I'm gonna stop reading now.
Get out of here. All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive in here, and we are with Luke and Mara. Now they were last we heard from them checking out the Excal space station. Ran into our favorite spy scientist Yamankar, and Mara destroyed him.
While Luke read some books.
Finish him.
And didn't hear it. Going on.
Fatality.
Flawless No,
it wasn't,
not flawless.
It wasn't quite flawless.
Do you even know the meaning of flawless victory?
Yeah. Oh, let's see here. So they're going to check out the Heleska system, where we also know that on the fourth planet, the Yuuzhan Vong have created their first stronghold.
It's a little comet. It's got a tail and everything.
They smacked their comet on big ball of ice. And this is where the war coordinator is, where Dagara is, where his little advanced troop is.
Miko.
And Miko and Danny are getting broken by tentacles and stuff. It's a happy time in the galaxy here. We're just starting.
Can we go back to Stan Lee?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I think that might be not. Yeah. Well, anyway. So Luke and Mara are going out to investigate the Heleska system. Luke is in his X-Wing, and Mara is in the Jade Saber.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so let's see here. They were going to kind of break up here. Luke was going to the fourth planet, and Mara is basically out there scanning the system in a more broad, because it's a bigger ship. And there's sort of a little bit of disconcertion here. They have no idea what or who Yamankar is. They obviously heard Dagara speaking through the Villip in a language they don't understand. There was a little point in here where Luke was like, was Yamankar a scientist who had been mutated by this natural disaster? He's like, I don't really think so. But so they keep going back here to like, R2 couldn't understand language, but maybe C-3PO could. 3PO! Where can he be?
How many times have they really needed him to, do what he was designed to do?
Every time.
Protocol.
Where does the fork go, 3PO? Next to the knife or on top of the spoon? That's all I can think of when you say protocol droid. Where's this? Where's the extra fork? So is this a salad fork or is this the eating fork? Do we need a soup spoon? 3PO?
Do I put the napkin on my lap or in my collar?
Oh, goodness.
3PO.
But anyway, he's still somewhat confident that C-3PO could maybe make a headway on this language. He's like, oh, he knows all the languages, all the forgotten languages. But then he starts to think, but he knows languages from this galaxy. And is this even from this galaxy? Which
It's
we know
almost
it
like
isn't.
Luke knows something, or at least has common sense, unlike most people in these situations.
Well, here's something I wanted to point out through this chapter. He keeps getting like a spidey sense tingling feeling. Now, here's the thing. Now, they cannot read the Yuuzhan Vong and the Force. But do you think maybe the Force is trying to tell him something? Maybe.
Giggity.
Okay. So Luke's out here in his X-Wing, foils down. They're not locked in the attack position at this point.
Cool.
He is using the sun to help, attempt to try and mask his approach to the planet. He's like telling R2, hey, tell me if you're getting too hot.
No, you're getting too hot. Oh, too bad.
Too dang bad. We're hitting 10 G's, buddy. And so he starts to go towards the planet after making a rotation of the sun here. And we do get a crackly message from Mara. Luke, there's black backside dots.
I think that was pretty accurate.
Awesome. So he obviously doesn't get the whole message, but Mara has identified, some objects.
Backside dots.
Backside dots. Oh, and
Play it back internally. Black side dots. Just coming from R2 now. We can't pronounce back to save our lives,
yeah,
by the way.
apparently we could.
5 times we tried.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Sorry, it's not as funny as I'm sure we think it is. But Luke basically gets caught in a, quote, tractor beam here, which is emanating from the planet.
Pennant.
And he's basically stuck. And to a different point of view. Now for something completely different. We go back to God, I can't talk. I can't talk. The Millennium Falcon. Goodness.
Oh, that's what you were trying to say.
We haven't been drinking. I swear. We're just.
I thought you were trying to say Serpidol.
No, I'm saying trying to get out. We're back on the Millennium Falcon, who is limping away from Serpidol.
But you can say that just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. And so Anakin here, we've got 111 ships in the 111 ships. There we go. So we do have an official number of ships.
How many people can they hold? Actually, they give us that number later on.
Do they?
So, yeah,
Okay, good.
20,000.
And Anakin, he says this to his father, not really knowing what to say or do, whether to hug him or run away. And then Anakin starts to say again, 111. You left him, Han said quietly, calmly. The accusation hit Anakin as hard as any punch ever could. So, obviously, Han's pretty happy, right?
Yeah.
No, he's feeling the weight of this right now. Anakin does try and explain, we had to get out of there. The moon was coming
You left him.
more sharply.
Sharp.
God, get out of here. And this is pretty much all Han can apparently say at this point because he says it, one or two more times. Mm-hmm. And he's slowly starting to get, show his anger here. Anakin's, how old is he again?
14 or 15.
So he's a kid. And like his father.
Put in a situation he really shouldn't have been in.
No, not necessarily.
Even in a galaxy far, far away.
And Anakin's feeling this too. I mean, obviously he didn't want to leave Chewie there, but he gauged the situation, and really there was no way that he could save Chewie and safely pilot the Falcon out.
Listen, because of writing, and I like this book. I'm not knocking the book, but because
Well,
of
there
writing,
are points we can knock. We can knock anything we want. This is our show.
but because of writing, it was a perfect storm to make sure that Chewie had to die. So it was either Chewie dies or everyone dies. There is no right way to look at it, but
right.
yeah, I wonder what you would do in that situation, but I think we would all probably do what Anakin did.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's really only one thing you could do, and again, we're talking about the writing here. I mean, it was too late. Couldn't save him. But if they only wouldn't have tried to help that old lady, little old lady,
should have killed the old lady.
Just never mind.
Yep.
Oh,
That's what I'm getting from what you're saying. Kill all the old ladies.
But then Han says here, Chewie, who had just done everything to save you, you left him, and then Anakin turned and ran. He's a kid. He just turned and ran. It's like he probably crying like a little
baby.
No, I'm just kidding. To be honest, like I can totally understand. I can understand both of their feelings. I think Han's kind of being a little bit overzealous here, but
he is.
And everybody's looking at Han. He doesn't really care at this point. He's distraught. This is a big...
I'd give you all up for my Chewie. I'd kill you all.
Give you all up.
I'd sacrifice you all.
Kill every one of you for Chewie.
I'd sacrifice you all to certain pimpin' at all for Chewie.
And for something completely different again.
R2 it is.
R2. What is it?
Never mind. That's not R2.
R2 it is. God, you can't read either.
No, I'm saying from the...
Get out of here.
From the perception of R2, but it's not R2. We're just talking to R2.
It's Luke.
Why can't it just be from R2's side?
Well, Luke's over here finding his calm again. Why does that bother you at all? Finding your calm? Because I think the more I read it in here, the more I'm just like,
stop meditating.
Just find your calm already.
Stop chasing it.
I would be okay if they said found their center, but for some reason
they say that a lot too.
Really? I haven't really.
Jason.
Jason? I just kind of keep noticing this find your calm, find your calm.
That's
find
Luke's
your calm.
thing. Jason's is finding his center.
I'll give you your calm.
I walk past my center every about 5 seconds. I got to refine it.
Right. So, Mara is trying to communicate with them. The communication's too broken up. I mean, they're kind of near to the sun still, so I'm sure that's not
Can't communicate.
But Luke is trying to break free of this tractor beam. He's trying to force his way out of it, putting it in full throttle, making a little bit of progress, but really not much. So what he winds up doing is
Was cool.
Yeah, it was kind of neat. And another thing we'll mention here too, he did try and raise his shields, but the shields were instantly dropped, which is one of the effects of this Davin Basil.
No, it's a tractor beam.
It's Davin Basil.
Tractor.
Yeah, from a Davin Basil. Get out of here. Right out of here. But anyway, it collapses the shield. So, but what Luke plans to do here is he does a little back throttling, and then he just empties all of his torpedoes at the planet where the source of this is supposed to be. Throttles up, puts up his shields, basically a shield from the blast, and then puts it in reverse and just backs it on out.
And formed a blood rush.
Blood rush. Oh, fantastic. That could be a t-shirt. Blood rush.
That will be our first t-shirt. Blood rush.
Jeez.
Just need to get an animated Mara.
There you
just
go.
like blood everywhere.
Ugh. So yeah, he just gently backs it up and parks it in that parallel park space, and away he goes.
So cool.
But anyway, he does get out of the tractor beam. However, now we bring in the coral skippers, and now for something sort of different but similar to what we already talked about. This chapter flips around quite a bit in between different point of views. It's actually a bit longer of a chapter, but really, it's not really.
It's a long chapter with not a whole lot in it. It's a lot of words with not a lot of meaning.
Yep.
But, a lot in between.
But again, Luke is basically, he's seeing some of these these specks becoming larger, and he's out of torpedoes. So, now back to Han.
I'm going back.
Yeah, Han's like, I'm going back to planet. Chewie found a way to get off that planet, right?
Yeah.
That which is just so dumb. It's like literally he was standing there
Did you really
yelling
have to
at the
say
moon.
that?
It's
Do you have to do this? It's already hard enough.
Chewie could have found a way out of there. I mean, the moon, just fell on him, but it'll be cool.
I've seen him rip people's arms off. He can rip the moon's arms off.
Yeah, I mean, it's just pure grief, but he does have the logical side that it's like, it can't be possible, but yeah, hey, I don't know, maybe.
He was crushed by a full-size moon, but maybe.
Right. So, he is getting ready to turn back to Lando's planet in order to, rip him a new one.
And then some a-hole needs help.
Here's another garbled trend.
Need help.
Now they're coming through. Giant bugs.
Too many. Corals.
No, those are giant bugs. He was.
Oh, yeah, it's a bug. The thump bugs. Is it thump bugs? No, that's what Yaman was throwing.
Yeah, it's another one.
Or no, it's thud buds. Thud bugs. Bugs.
Breach.
Why can't we pronounce anything today?
But yeah, we kind of pick back up with our sort of long lost friend Kip.
Kip Duran.
Yeah, there you go.
Duran.
For some reason, I couldn't think of his last name, but yeah, Kip Duran. Gotcha. Oh man. So we left we almost need to re-record this. This is getting bad. We're not going to, but it's bad.
Well, if this is our
We
best
left
one yet.
we last left off with Kip. This is bad. He had him and his gang of pilots had basically had the first engagement with the Yuuzhan Vong fleet of coral skippers.
Yep.
And they're essentially destroyed. Kip and
Miko.
another pilot had gotten away.
Yeah. Yep.
The other pilot was torn apart, and you remember the whole squishing the one bug with the foils, the X-wing foils,
And
which
then
was
just
kind of cheesy.
jumping out of your ship and slicing the other one up with your lightsaber.
Yeah, it was good.
Middle of space.
But anyway, he's still out there. He's been floating, and he turned his sights to Cernpidal in hope that somebody would help him. And it just seems like an awful coincidence, a quinky dink, that Han was there to help him. So,
Yeah, kind of like the winky dink about the moon falling and killing Chewie.
that's writing for you, folks. But anyway, so Han can't ignore this. He does fly out, and he calls out, and when he gets back, click, Kip, damage, and Han basically, there's not many Kips in the galaxy. It's got to be Kip Duran, right? Can't be any other Kip in the galaxy. But let's see here.
Trying to find spot you're reading from.
No,
Stupid big book.
there was a point in here where Han calls back for Anakin. He yells out, Anakin, I could use a co-pilot.
Mm-hmm.
So, excuse me. But he's going in for Kip, calls for Anakin. Son walked tentatively into the control room and quietly slipped in the seat beside him. We've got a distress call. I think it's Kip. Got himself into some kind of trouble, maybe with the bug things. If you'd been up here, you'd have seen them.
Because you really wanted to be around me after, I just screamed
Yeah,
at you
which
for
is
killing
kind of
Chewie.
silly. It's like, well, you're all childish, but, I just, made you run away and cry to yourself. Good job.
How old are you again? 20? Oh, you're 14?
30, 35.
Time is going slow. Grow up already.
Yeah, so Anakin takes a seat, and they go up to attempt to find Kip, and we change directions again. Back to Luke.
Back to R2. Nope, Luke. Again.
Goodness. So Luke's basically locked in epic space battle. Blood rush. Luke didn't have any shields. He's diving and rolling and went into loop-de-loops and, just barrel rolling all over the place.
Do a barrel roll.
R2's just screaming.
Rear barrel.
I doubt he's won barrel rolls. He's flying instinctually at this point. You know, he's making snap maneuvers. There,
And he barrel rolled.
yeah, there's a lot of barrel rolling. His ion drive is, you know, kind of being taxed out of here, but, you know, the enemies are catching up with him from all sides. And we switch. Actually, to be honest with you,
that was a quick one. That was useless.
to be honest with you,
Didn't
like
even need that.
this sort of writing does kind of annoy me a bit.
This is the worst chapter for it, I think.
Yeah. So we're back to Han. It is Kip. Oh no. Swarm of insects zoom in for the X-Wing. Or from the X-Wing for the Falcon. For the X-Wing and for the Falcon. There's just bugs everywhere.
They're coming from the X-Wing, guy. They're coming from the X-Wing.
They baited us. They used Kip to lure us in. And Anakin says, you think they're intelligent. Now, this is interesting. So, these bugs, now this was something that Dagara had sent out after the ships. And if you remember, there was a conversation with Namanur, and he was basically saying, you know, questioning the wisdom in that.
Yeah, because they have no control of these
Right.
creatures. One of the only things they can't commune with.
Right. Well, they're territorial, and they'll basically attack everything.
Yep.
And anything that they come across. Well, that's kind of what they're doing. So do you think they're somewhat sentient here? Do you think they were using Kip as a bait to try and get somebody else lured in? Is that how they work?
They really haven't pictured them as being sentient at all. I think they're just running on instinct. If they were sentient, they'd be able to commune with the Yuuzhan Vong like the rest of the creatures. But
maybe,
that's just
maybe.
one opinion.
Maybe. But you know, again, Han sees this bug. We've got quite a bit of them apparently. You know, Han instructs Anakin to go up to the guns. Those sweet turrets. Yeah. And Anakin rushes off, and you know he feels good there. He feels good with the
Quad laser cannon.
feeling the triggers and sticks in each hand. He loved this place. Considering the fast swiveling chair and the thumping guns as a test of his reaction and skill. Yeah, I would think that'd be pretty sweet. Like, I mean, you remember the turbo, the laser turrets from the movies, and they're the actual turret physically moves with each shot and everything, and you remember in
Amber berries.
in the Force Awakens when Finn jumps in there, he's like gyrating all over the darn place trying to get that stupid thing to work. I think it would be cool. That'd be like a total video game thing.
Yeah. Be well the virtual games from an arcade would go.
Yeah.
Play.
Except
God,
way
that
more
would break necks if that was a real thing in an arcade.
Oh, for sure. So Han does call out, don't let any of those things get near us. His tone bringing Anakin back to the situation at hand, making him rub his sweaty palms across the rigid sticks. Brings us back to the last chapter with the long cylindrical
The rod waiting to burst. Or was it explode?
It was the thermal detonator. He pulls a long
Ready to detonate.
Pulls a long rod from under his robes.
And
a thermal detonator.
And prepared to detonate.
We're not 12, I swear to God.
And you shouldn't listen to this
older.
if you are 12.
Maybe not. Or at least we're not like cursing every other word like some of those other substandard podcasts do. Not naming any names. Oh, let's see here. Oh, and he also says, and don't blow Kip out of the universe. Which, you know, Anakin, again, you know, he takes that way too personally. And you know, I understand why.
Damn it, Chewie.
Damn it, Chewie. How am I going to get this thing in tow without you? So, again, you know, he's still like rubbing it in, man. I mean, the cut's open. You don't have to rub dirt in it. Or maybe you
he's
do.
throwing salt.
A little salt. Salty salt.
The earth of his wound.
Yeah. Oh, so Anakin's up there blasting away at bugs. However, some of them do get away, and they do contact the hull. And Han, you know, they're on the hull. Oh, really? Good job, Han. Excuse me. And Han's kind of freaking out. They're starting to breach the hull. I mean, these things, find the metal in these ships to be nothing.
Yeah.
So Anakin jumps up from the turret and runs down the corridors. "What are you doing?" cried Han, or it came Han's cry from below. "We got no power." He turns off the power. And then Anakin replied, "Just washing off the hull. Bzz. Go see if it's clear." So basically, he had directed the power onto the hull to essentially zap all these bugs. Very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart, stroke of genius there. So he stuns all the bugs, and they're all just floating around, and it's just easy to zap them from there, just pick them off. And Han does say, "Nice move, kid," whispered under his breath. Han smiled in spite of himself, checked in tow line to make sure. They had Kip's X-Wing firmly in their grasp, then headed back for the convoy. And
R2.
Changing back.
At least this one's a full page and a half.
Yeah, I got a little bit. That's pretty much the each of these parts are about a page and a half.
I like books where they change the perspective every chapter, not every 2 pages.
Yeah, it's a little much. I mean, I understand you're trying to fit whatever you can in here, but it just seems a little crazy. But anyway, Luke, he's again still flying purely on instinct. Yeah. R2 still howling the entire time.
You made it to Dagobah yet?
And
Go to Dagobah.
God. And the enemy fighters are pacing him, closing. Still. Oh, let's see. Luke reversed the throttle, and he let the X-Wing's 4 laser cannons loose, scattering the 2 rock-like fighters all across the sector. So now he's fighting. And in comes Mara. And, she blasts a few of them. And
Causing a blood rush.
get out of here with your blood rush. I'm going to make you that shirt for Christmas and make you wear it.
Please do.
Oh. So, yeah, okay, again, the Jade Saber comes in. Luke heads straight for the docking bay, gets that thing swung in, and, they rocket out of there. So that's interesting. So the Jade Saber can outrun him. This is a BA shit. Man. Gotta love it.
Well, it is Luke's construction, so.
And there was also a part in here where they heard a couple of collisions. So these coral skippers, they use they call it what are they, like molten torpedoes or whatever. So I kind of wonder what it got hit with. Did it get hit with those? Because if it did no damage.
Or did they try to drop the shields?
I don't know, or maybe they were just bum rushing or like kamikaze style. I don't know. They didn't really make that clear. It just said he felt the rocking of the Jade Saber took a few hits, but she was built to take them. Luke realized. He just
realized it after probably 10 years ago he built this. Just now realizing. I
actually do want to talk. I do want to talk about that for a second. So, to this point, the defenses of basically all these ships have been essentially useless. Mm-hmm. They dropped with the shields. It would have been pretty much over. But the Yuuzhan Vong. When you think about that. So you have living coral skipper ships with molten missiles, and our ships with pretty much superior firepower because they can just blast these things out of the sky. Yeah. So if we were able to keep our shields,
they would win instantly.
I mean, it wouldn't be much of a match, right?
No, it really shouldn't be that much of a match if you had the right amount of firepower anyway.
It's just kind of but again, we're picking off outskirts here, right. So it's kind of tough. But anyway, I kind of found that to be interesting. So the Jade Saber can take a few hits from what they're throwing at him, but nobody else could.
They didn't explain though if they had dropped their shields or not.
Yeah, and I that's just something I found interesting.
Yeah, they could have expanded on that quite a bit.
Correct. So Mara remarked here, something bad's happening here. I've got a bad feeling about this. Something connected to the Belkanen and that to Belkanen and that warrior. I feel it for sure. And, there were 1,000 ships coming up to get you, Mara explained. Yeah. That's one of those kind of moments there. So, again, they're They're off to Lando's planet. We're all meeting back. A little bit of a tactical retreat here. And switching. Kip walked into the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. Having come across on a walking dock, a tube extending from the freighter that had collected his X-Wing to the hard dock of the Falcon's upper hatch. L4's gone. And Han pretty much just...
oh, your droid's gone. That's a shame.
That's a shame. Was he Chewbacca?
Was he my best friend? Did he rip people's arms off?
Yeah, but I mean, eventually he does kind of, let him know it's like, basically my entire fleet's gone. Yeah. And at that point he feels, appropriately sad. And they're trying to talk about these bug things. Like, what are these bug things? It's like, hey, I don't know. They just attach yourself. We went to hyperspace. And Anakin does ask here, they can go to hyperspace. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Can the bugs...
Can they go to hyperspace, or can they just travel on something going in hyperspace?
See, I thought they were already attached.
They were.
But even then, like a living biological creature surviving through hyperspace, that's hardcore.
Yeah. Very.
Oh, let's see
Which
here.
brings me to this. How do the Yuuzhan Vong catch these things and are able to...
Well, they breed them.
Oh, they breed them.
Yeah, they
How are they
do
not
breed
overwhelmed by them?
Good call. Yeah, I really don't know.
They must be very seclusive creatures.
Maybe they just give them something like eucalyptus and they're just stoned all the time like pandas. Panda. I don't know. Who knows?
Might have been the most random thing of the day.
Hey, man, that's what I do around here. I mispronounce things.
Is that what eucalyptus does to pandas?
I don't know. I'm not a freaking scientist.
You just pulled that out of your butt?
That's what they say, man. That's just what they say.
Who?
People. Very important people. The best people of all time. They're truly wonderful.
Good people. Let me tell you about these good people.
They are truly, truly wonderful. All right. So enough about all that. Basically, the rest of this is just heading back. Han does try and get a little intel about what Kip had encountered, but they don't really go too much into here. And this basically brings us to the end of the chapter. So I'm glad you were here to suffer with us through that. I'm sure you really enjoyed my mispronouncing every other word, but that's what I'm here for, folks. I'm here to just mess it all up.
Everyone's probably assuming we're drinking right now.
We're really not. I'm tired. I had to actually get up today and do stuff, which is horrible thing.
Oh, God, you poor thing.
I know.
First world problems right there.
So how'd you like the chapter? What'd you think of that?
Jumped around a little more than I would have liked, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, there was some interesting stuff in here. Obviously, we've already had our first encounter with the Yuuzhan Vong. However, now we're having Master Luke. His first encounter with the Yuuzhan Vong.
I would definitely say this is mainly just a setup chapter, but feeling the weight of,
gets you a little bit more into what Han's feeling.
With Han and Anakin right now.
Yep.
Definitely interesting.
Yeah, I agree, and I think, we read ahead so that we can get a little bit ahead here, so we do kind of know what's happening, but yeah.
Ooh, in the next chapter, I can't wait. Can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah. So definitely a lot going on here, and we're looking forward to the next chapter. I do hope that all of you enjoy this podcast. Again, like we said before, let us know. Let us know if you're enjoying yourself. Let us know what we could be doing better or different, or if we should just go away.
Don't make us go away.
Now we'll be here forever. But anyway, we do appreciate everybody stopping by. As a general reminder here, if you are interested and you would like to, talk it out. Just talk it out. Tell us what you're thinking of the chapters. Let us
get in your feels.
Yeah.
Get in your feels.
Give us your theories. Give us, whatever you would like to talk about Star Wars related. 2 methods to get a hold of us. You can either go to Facebook, find us on Facebook, send us a little message, or you can check out the email. Just shoot us an email. That's tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can head over to Patreon if you really want to support us. If you want to be like the big dog supporter, Patreon's the way to be. We have our Dinner with the Patron series over there, which is a lot of fun. We sit down with usually fast food because we're cheap, and just eat and talk about a general subject, and you can sit down with us and just chill.
Next month on Dinner with the Patrons, Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I think we've decided we were going to go with Chick-fil-A for the next one. Well, not technically because we already did one that I need to post, which we had...
the month after next on Dinner with the Patrons, Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I think this would be the first time you ever had Chick-fil-A, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Be talking about that for the first 20 minutes.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh,
The chicken.
the Jesus chicken. Oh, the Jesus chicken.
The religious chicken. But anyway, folks, we greatly appreciate you stopping by, and y'all have a great rest of your week.
And as always, we're in a force, Bill Wish.